Hello everyone, and welcome to this board game overview video for Kingdom Death Monsters Catarium. This is a follow-up video to the various White Lion overview videos, as this is the location you get from defeating the White Lion, and everything here is primarily made with White Lion resources. In this video, I will be covering the location itself, which is simply just the various crafting gear, no special effects this time, the White Lion armor set itself, and the various gear cards, including details of the White Lion armor and everything else in here, and how some of them might fit together with some of the previous location items. Regardless, let's get close up on this stuff and take a look.
Alright, so starting off with the location itself, the Catarium. And before we move on, I just want to state the fact that you can make everything in this location from just fighting the White Lion. No endeavor actions or innovations are necessary to make anything here. Starting off with the White Lion set, all 5 of these pieces, the White Lion helm, gauntlet, coat, skirt, and boots, require 1 white fur, with the first also requiring a great cat bone, the second requiring just a bone, and each of the other 3 also requiring a hide. Then we'll move on to the requirements for the rest of the items. The Lion Beast Guitar is a lion claw and a hide. You'll probably want to make 2 of these if you want to use it at all. The claw head arrow is just a lion's claw. Keep in mind, you don't need to keep making this. You don't archive it when you use it that once per showdown. You just can only use it once per showdown. The King's Spear is also a lion's claw, paired with a great cat bone. The Catgut Bow is a sinew and any bone. The Fang Knife is an elder cat teeth, which again comes from killing a level 3 white lion, and this seems to be the only specific use for it, and 4 organs, which really doesn't make much sense. And on the other side, we have items that are more so support, but not entirely. We have the Cat's Eye Circlet, which requires the eye of the cat, only thing for that specific item, and the Whisker Heart requires a golden whisker and a bone. The golden whisker is also specifically needed for this. Then we have the Lion Headdress, requiring just a shimmering mane, a lion skin cloak, requiring the 2 white fur, and frenzy drink, requiring the 1 lion's testes. Again, the item can be worth it depending on your build, but don't aim for that crit location. Hope it's just one of the resources you get. Now, onto the item cards themselves. Starting with the White Lion set pieces. We'll get to the set after the individual items. I just want to point out, each spot is 2 armor. They are also classified with the armor, set, fur, and heavy keywords. With that said, we move on to the White Lion's helm. This has a down red affinity, which early on can be easily matched with a bone dagger, and assuming you match that one up and have a blue affinity elsewhere, you can spend your action and 1 survival to roar. Non-death insane survivors gain 2 strength until the end of the round. All other survivors gain 1 insanity. So the 1 insanity makes so people can reach that. So if you're using said bone dagger to easily generate survival, you can generate and spend often enough to just give people 2 strength. Obviously, won't be able to attack without Surge on the same round you spend this. And with Surge, that does mean you can also hand out a 4+ strength. The White Lion Gauntlets just say when you pounce, gain +1 accuracy for your next attack this turn. Pounce is on one of the later items. In fact, here it is, with the White Lion coat, which has a up blue affinity, which can only be met with the Rawhide headband at this point in the game. And Pounce itself is spend your movement and your action to move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then if you moved 3 spaces, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. This is very easy with the spear because facing doesn't matter for the survivors, and that means you can end a space away. As a few other notes with Pounce. You may pounce twice if it is a large enough creature in order for you to move the 3 both times, are positioned correctly, have both Pink and Inner Lantern for dash and surge, and use those separately, meaning you have to use surge with your movement action and dash with your action. This also works the same for getting around cumbersome, by the way, and is actually one of the statements from Boots. But with that said, moving the 3, because you have to move in a straight line, you should always aim to move alongside the monster and not plan to stop in front of it, and you can always dash into position. The White Lion skirt is just a left and right red affinity, with plenty of things to match either of those. Then with the white line boots, a right and a down red affinity, which if you can complete both, again, you'll need the bone dagger this early on with pretty much any bone weapon, as well as a few other items here and there to complete the right one, you would gain +1 movement. Then moving on to Lion Beast Guitars, with a 2 speed, 7 accuracy, and 3 strength, this item is deadly, so +1 luck, and paired, which is if you have a second of the same weapon at its speed when you activate the other. It's not anything else, you don't double up effects, like you wouldn't double up deadly in this case. It would just, if you're attacking with one Lion Beast Guitar and have another, it would be a speed 4 attack. It is recommended to make 2 of these, and this is the first example of guitars in the game. This is a weapon, melee, and a guitar. Next up, we have the Clawhead Arrow. It's an item, ammunition, and an arrow. It is not a weapon unto itself, and as it is ammo, as stated down below, you need the matching type of weapon, a bow in this case. And here we have a right blue affinity, and the earliest example at that. If you want to finish the Lucky Charms ability without having to rely on a rawhide headband, this is probably your best bet. Its attack profile is speed 1, accuracy 6, so hits on a 50-50, strength 6, likely to wound anything it hits early on. If you hit, not if you wound, monster gains -1 evasion token, used once per showdown. I recommend using this pretty much first or second turn. Also note, it is slow, so I don't care what the speed of your bow is or your character. Unless you can ignore that, it's still just a speed 1. Then we have one of my personal recommendations out of the set of items, the King's Spear, as it's pretty much the earliest reach weapon for a while. It is a weapon melee spear, heavy, two-handed. It has a right red affinity and a reach of 2. You may attack from 2 spaces away. This does mean technically you can attack from 1 diagonal away. Its attack profile is a speed 2, accuracy 6, strength 3. Spears can be very good if you get into its weapon mastery. Then we have the earliest bow. We have the Catgut Bow, which is a weapon, range, bow, and two-handed, with an up blue affinity that you can match again with a rawhide headband. It is cumbersome, meaning you have to use your movement with your action in order to attack. Range of 6, aim. When you attack, before rolling to hit, you may reduce the speed of this weapon by 1 to gain +2 accuracy for that attack. This is not make the weapon slow, it is if you don't have modifiers, make it speed 1. If you have negative modifiers, do this every time because you have a minimum of 1 speed. And its attack profile is a speed of 2, accuracy of 7, and strength of 3. I like this bow. Then the item that you're likely to get the latest out of everything here. The Fang Night, with oddly a red affinity on every side, and if you can reach 3 red affinities, they don't even need to be on here. On a perfect hit, gain +1 strength token. When knocked down, remove all your strength tokens. There's a lot of builds this can be very nice with, and it's on a perfect hit, meaning each perfect hit. So things such as Timeless Eye are very nice, which as a reminder makes you perfect hit on a 9. Another one of these plus Ambidextrous would make that really good, although very likely to reveal the trap. It is a speed 3, accuracy 6, strength 2, so like most daggers, still not that strong. And it is a weapon melee dagger bone, so it's still usable by people with a skull. Next up we have another one of the items that I highly recommend from this set, the Cat's Eye Circlet. Item, jewelry, other. With a left blue affinity, it is simply just an action of reveal the next 3 monsters' hit locations and put them back in any order. This does mean with slower attacks you can bury the trap, or you can plan things with a founding stone. Honestly, this makes the game significantly easier. So avoid it if you want the game to be harder, or harder than it would be with this. Next up we have the Whisker Heart, the second instrument to be introduced in the game. It is a item, instrument, and noisy. With a left blue affinity, it has the effects of on arrival, all survivors gain +1 survival, doesn't matter if they're deaf or not, and as an action, strum. roll a 1d10. On a 6 plus, so 50-50, discard one mood currently in play. And this is the reason this is the third item from this set of items that I heavily recommend. Even if you're afraid of the one hunt event that makes people afraid of having noisy gear, it's still then good for nemesis fights, because removing moods can be amazingly helpful. This also got heavily improved from 1.0, where I believe it was on a 7 or 8 plus it removed a mood, unless you were using it against the White Lion, and then it was on something like a 3 or 4 plus. Next, we have the Lion Headdress, a 1 armor head slot. Item, flammable. And this is our first example of accessory. You may wear this in addition to 1 armor at this hit location. And that's pretty much the entire use of this. And the only specific use of the Shimmering Mane. Honestly, I don't think I've ever made this. I just prefer using the Shimmering Mane for 2 hide. But if I wasn't in need for hide, I might, just for the sake of it sitting around. Then we have the Lion Skin Cloak, which is armor, fur, bone, heavy, and flammable. A 0 armor chest piece with a green right affinity, something that can match up with Monster Grease. It has the effect of reduce damage from every hit suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. There are multiple effects like this, and they do stack. To my knowledge, they all do a minimum of 1. And note, it does not remove the hit, so on-hit effects still happen. And lastly, we have the Frenzy Drink. Item, consumable, fragile. Remember, if something says consume, that doesn't mean archive it, unless it says so. But as an action, suffer the Frenzy Brain Trauma. Can only be used once per showdown. As a reminder, the Frenzy Brain Trauma is gain 1d5 Insanity, a +1 Strength token, and a +1 Speed token. You can no longer use Survival, Fighting Arts, and I believe a few other things, and you are no longer affected by slow. This can be great for activating certain builds, and also if you just have a character that can't use survival anymore. Pop this, go. They're not useless anymore, assuming they make it to the showdown. Lastly, we have the White Lion armor set itself. It requires all 5 of the White Lion pieces, which, as you can see, only have 1 affinity that can be created by itself. And it adds 1 armor to all hit locations, making them 3 each. Your weapons are your claws. Rawr. Gain +1 speed and +2 strength when attacking with daggers or katars. So this is simply straightforward, a dagger katar set. Now, that also means you gain pounce, which will have a +1 accuracy and a +1 strength when used, and still have the ability, pretty much when you're not in range, to be able to use the White Lion Helm ability if you've unlocked it, which is doable with items from other locations.
Alright everyone, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, feel free to press the like button. If you think this video will help somebody else, feel free to share this video. Either way, you'll help this video get seen more. If you didn't think this video was helpful, go ahead and press the dislike button. I won't mind, but please leave a constructive comment as to why. Also, feel free to comment in general, and if you want to see more like this, be it more board game overview videos, my unboxing videos, or my painting videos, feel free to subscribe. Regardless, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.